Welcome to the Hobby Jogger Podcast, where elite athletes and ham and eggers lace up their stories. We explore the common ground that running creates, from the world-class runner to the hobbyist hitting the pavement, trail, or treadmill. Expect a blend of inspiration, laughter, and the shared joy that makes every step count. Join us on this journey where every run is a story worth sharing. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Hobby Jogger. I am your co-host, Casey Koza, once again joined by Mr. Rob Myers. Rob, how are we doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to Canyons coming up in 2 weeks. It's gonna be a fun race.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Everything, all the preparation for Canyons go well?
Put in some of the miles, not nearly as many as I wanted to, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Nice. As long as you put in some of the miles, that's all that really matters. Got to get some of the work done and get all of the way there is the way I like to look at it. But we have a new guest here today. I'm going to do my best here, Rob. It is Alex Papadopoulos of a West Virginia Trail Fest. Alex, how did I do on that name?
Bingo.
Got it. See that,
Yeah,
Rob?
you got it, man. Well done.
Nice. I finally nailed one, Rob.
Yeah, I think 3 out of 20.
If it wasn't on the screen, I'd tell you, spell it right and I'll buy you a beer when I see you at the West Virginia Trail Fest.
Well, I will take you up on that beer, Alex. And I'm
Perfect.
pretty excited to talk to you about the West Virginia Trail Fest here. Yeah, kind of came up on my radar. Let me talk a little bit. I'm running the Laurel Highlands 70 mile and was kind of trying to find a race anywhere. There was a couple week period there and couldn't really find much and stumbled upon West Virginia Trail Fest. So I'm very happy I did, and happy that you have the 30K distance. I think that's about 18 miles, right? 18, 19?
Yeah, it's 18. It runs closer to 19.
Okay.
But it's right there, 19 and a half. But yeah, it's right there. But yeah, not to give a plug for the Laurel Highlands. I think you said that when our communications, you were out there last week and absolutely loved that race. I ran it years back, and it is hands down one of the funnest, just fun, well organized. And it's been around for almost 50 years, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, that's my hometown area out there. So that's
excellent
for the Easter weekend. But yeah, Dan, our friend Dan LG, friend of the show, shout out Dan, does a great job out there. And Rob, how many years in a row have we been out there?
Fourth is this year or the fifth?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years we've been out there, Alex. And yeah, I agree. It's they do a great job and a beautiful part of the country. So yeah, I grew up out there, so can't say enough nice things. But also, West Virginia being just south of me growing up, very similar terrain down there, also very beautiful. Snowshoe, West Virginia. Haven't been there in a long time. Was there as a kid. So looking forward to going back. But first, Alex, I kind of want to know a little bit more about you. What got you into running and specifically trail running? Where did this journey begin?
Jeez, don't let the gray hair fool you. No, it's how I got into trail running. I right out of college, I always ran. Yeah, I always did some type of endurance sports growing up. Nothing extravagant. I played soccer and just always running, wrestled. And then, right out of college, dabbled in some sports in college, and then I found marathons. And then about 4 years after that, I was like, oh, a 50 miler. This sounds much more fun and exciting than a marathon. And you can run trails. And I always loved hiking, and no one ever told me you could run on trails. Captain Obvious, right?
Yeah.
And it was just a simple start. And I live here in Northern Virginia, and Bull Run 50 miler, which was just this past weekend with record heat. Shout out to the team that puts that on with the Virginia Happy Trails Running Club. And it was, just stumbled upon it, and I was like, all right, let's see where we can, push the body. And that's, really where it started. Is like, all right, what's that next boundary that we can find ourselves, somewhere, probably being a little bit of adrenaline junkie too. But yeah, it was just it sort of evolved as like, all right, this 50 miler's cool. Oh, really? Wow.
Alex, if you don't mind me asking, about what year was that?
That was 2002.
Okay, so you've seen a large swath of change in the
Yeah,
trail running world over the years.
yeah, it's completely different than in what it was. 25 years ago, it was, you didn't have social media pushing the community, creating the communities. It was really a lot of just, listserv, hey, flash mobs at a trail party, at a trailhead, and just showing up and, people running various distances. You just shout out an email, you showed up, you ran, you didn't have all these fancy GPSs that keep you on track now and planning your routes. It was just, all right, you go there and you've got a paper map, you put it in a Ziploc bag, and you didn't have cell phones as your security blanket or anything like that. It was, no pun intended, it was the Wild West, maybe.
I mean, Alex, you have one of the most impressive ultra signups I've ever seen. I mean, how many times did you run hurt? Like
Uh,
7, 8 times? I mean, that's a crazy race.
yeah, it is. I've started at 19 times, finished at 17. So, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Uh,
That's amazing. I think I've met maybe 2 or 3 people that have run it one time. So
So okay, you just ran it in January. That's
yes, yeah.
pretty impressive there. Wow, yeah, I didn't even look at that. I didn't even normally I pull up the ultra sign up. Alex, I'll be honest, we don't do the most research on this show.
Nah, it's all good. I think keep it raw.
That's honestly, truly, Alex, that's kind of what it is. I think you get a more organic conversation. Rob sometimes disagrees with me most of the time, I think, but you know,
Yeah, yeah,
wow, you really like the Hurt 100, Alex. That's the Hawaiian race, correct?
yeah. Hawaii Ultra Running Team, wonderful organization to go be a part of. Anyone, yeah, if you're interested in the race, they've got a lottery system similar to what Hard Rock used to have, the previous iteration. Just start signing up now if you're interested to start getting those extra lottery tickets. They get between 500 and 700 registrants per year, so it's your odds are fairly good that you're going to get in after a couple 3 years. But yeah, I mean, you brought it up a lot of times. I think it's between as the social running hobby takes a lot of time out of our personal lives, and you're always at least we're all struggling with that balance between I'll call it church and state, right? Between the work life, the home life, and then the ultra life, and then you throw kids in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, or whether it's like a home business or you work for a corporation, it's just it's a constant jungle act to maintain that balance. In this race, just is one of those things. I found out about it. I worked there for a year, and I started running with the group there, wonderful group, and it's just a race that we fell in love with as a family, and it ended up fitting our lifestyle. And it didn't. It was a race that I could train for that did not take away from the family, if that makes sense. And they're always out there with me too, which is always great. So they get to experience it.
Yeah, probably tough loading up, convincing them to load up the in the plane and go out to Hawaii. I'm sure that's a real tough sell.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to say family of four, frequent flyer miles are our best friend.
I see you have the Hellbender race. That's in Virginia, correct? It's not like, hey, fam, we're gonna
North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Yeah, it's not like, hey, we're gonna load up the minivan and go spend the weekend in the woods in North Carolina. We're going to Hawaii. A little bit easier.
Yeah, and it's in January too. So no one's ever complaining about going from Virginia to Hawaii in January for a handful of days.
No, not a lot of complaints there. I imagine. So yeah, that's really cool. That's a race. Yeah, maybe I will start signing up for the lottery of that. It seems pretty cool. And I guess looking at your ultra sign up now, you have a ton of experience running. What made you decide to want to get into race directing? And how did that come about? Because I like doing the podcast. Podcast is great. but I can't imagine the work. We had Dan LG, like we previously mentioned, the Laurel Highlands on, and I know just talking to him the work that goes into it. So what made you decide to want to do that?
We started with like a good friend, Scott Crabb. We're still good friends. He's moved away from the area. So that made it difficult for us to continue working together. But really, back back in the time, yeah, we started in 2004, 2005. And just if you look at the number of races that existed back then versus now, there wasn't that much out there. And we started by hosting very analogous to your backyard style events. We used to do loop races, generally no longer than a 10K, where you can get new trail runners into the community, with low barriers to entry. You don't have that stress of a cutoff. You're a finisher. As long as you finish one loop, you're a finisher. And you've got 8 hours, and you get people who have never run more than 5 miles in their life, and it's like, this looks like a good idea. I can go for 12 hours, and they just keep walking or running in circles. And you get these people, like I said, no more than 5 miles, and they run 50, or they knock out their first 50K. But a lot of it, I think, was being able to introduce people to the community. There wasn't a lot. There weren't a lot of trail events at the time. And part of it, starting in 2000, in the early 2005s, a lot of our races are small. You get to know the community really well. We sort of specialize between 60 and 120 is where most of our events are. West Virginia is definitely an outlier for the types of events that we've hosted.
Yeah, West Virginia has a big running trail running community. I've also run the Conowa Trace. Was that what it was called down there in West Virginia?
I think so.
I think that's yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You have a lot of support down there in West Virginia for trail running for sure, Alex.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, that's like from this area, it's like there's a lot of people who don't know about the trails down there, and we with co-race director Pat Early, we found it by accident. Uh, but yeah, to answer your question specifically, just engage, allowing people the opportunity to be on trails, to push themselves, and just share the being able to share what I've gotten out of trail running with other people. And in the hopes that maybe they'll discover that, or they'll discover something new about themselves, enabling people to push their boundaries.
Yeah.
Whether it's physically, psychologically, and emotionally. Where's that barrier? Can we get to it? What's beyond it? Or we just hold ourselves back? Who knows?
Hey, folks, if you're loving the stories, tips, and laughs we're dishing out, make sure you don't miss an episode. Hit that subscribe button so you're the first to know when a new episode drops. And hey, if you've got a second, why not leave us a review? Your feedback helps us improve and keeps this running community growing. Lace up, hit subscribe, and let's get back into the show. Yeah, and I'm glad you're out there doing it, Alex. We need more race directors like you for sure. Have you seen the same people coming back year after year through your races? I know you said you started in 2005. Do you have like the same group that has followed you through all the races, I guess?
Yeah, we had, sort of, 2005, we're going on year 20. But you have, there's a good strong, and any race probably between 30 and 50%. You're having some person from, that percentage, a lot of races, there's someone coming back from an old race. And sometimes now it's like you haven't seen these people in like 7, 8 years, and their name pops up on the list. I was like, oh, I remember that. They ran 2 races way back when, and they're coming back. It gives you, it gives me a good feeling, I say, but hopefully, what the volunteers did that come out and help, because how, it's the volunteer corps that, makes these events successful. And I think sometimes, I'll be pointed, like, even with me, I think race directors get too much credit. And it's the volunteers that are showing up, who make the experience for the runners. We're out there pulling permits, marking trails, setting up the environment, but it's the enthusiasm of the volunteers where it's really at. And I think those folks are the ones that make the difference for the runners.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the volunteers certainly do. And, Rob and I have seen our fair share of great volunteers over the years. Talk you off the ledge of quitting, Maybe explain to you that you can't quite quit here. You have to go actually to the next aid station if you want to quit. So might as well keep going because I'm not getting in my car to leave for another 6 hours and you don't want to wait for me. So you might as well walk to the next one. We've had that as well. So yeah, the volunteers are great for sure.
Yeah. And then, this past week, and then you have the power of Uber now, where you can, we're working one of the aid station this weekend, and there's, they're told you can't drop there. And we had 6 people drop there this year. I mean, yeah, it was the heat. And they're like, yeah, we're going to stop here. We're going to call an Uber to this pin and they're going to come pick us up. I was like, all right.
Okay. Yeah.
Something new way to drop, right? Call up an Uber. And it's like, you've got no, you can't talk them off the ledge anymore.
I got a feeling there's not an Uber to come get me in snowshoe. If I had to guess, Alex.
Yeah, no, you're. I don't think they're going to be able to take the ski lift down and pick you up.
Yeah, he's getting 5 stars if he does for sure.
Right.
Yeah, if he comes and picks me up off the mountain there. So
a big fat tip.
Yeah, he's getting a good one for sure. So you have West Virginia Trail Fest. Obviously, that's why we brought you on to talk.
Yeah.
Are you in a partnership with? And I don't know what it would be, but I'm guessing like the West Virginia Tourist Board for this race, maybe, or is there some kind of partnership? Because I see you post a lot about like the parks and stuff in West Virginia on your Instagram.
Yeah, we do. And part of that is it's West Virginia is I don't know if you see where you guys live, but I mean there's just a massive push on tourism. We did partner with them last year, not so much this year. But what we do, and we say snowshoe, but really we're partnered with snowshoe, but we're also partnered with Pocahontas County.
Okay.
And their visitors bureau. They're one of our main partners. And so anytime they're posting something, and and of course what the state is posting with their state parks, and we run through 3 of their state parks on the for the 100K and 2 for the 50K. So that partnership for us is very important. One of our goals, and sort of straight up, Pat and I we're outsiders. We're not from West Virginia. When I was originally developing the race, the idea was to start a 200 miler that started in Harrisonburg, West Virginia, and went all the way to Snowshoe. Okay. And it had it mapped out. It was like 220. This is 7 years ago, and I mean, which it was totally awesome. But it was also really dangerous. If you've driven and you guys have been through West Virginia, it's like you don't have shoulders on the road. There's lots of blind turns. Lots of twists and turns in the mountains, and bottom line, that was someone dying waiting to happen. Get smacked by a car. So really frightening.
No, you wouldn't have got me doing that at like 2 a.m. on those twisty back West Virginia roads. Yeah.
I'm not saying they're bad drivers, but it's just a risk that, it's the middle of the night, 200 miles, you're on day 3, day 4, exhausted. But yeah, so we sort of revamped everything, and we came up with the West Virginia Trail Fest. And then we first year was 24. We started putting things together. In 22, early 23, came to fruition in 24, and now we're rolling into year 3 with 4 separate distances. 5K, 30, 50, 100. The 50 and the 100 are both point to point, with the 100 starting at midnight. And then we've also got a kids 1 mile fun run.
Good. That's always good for the kids, the families that come out.
You'll be seeing some neat things come about next year, but right now it's happening on Memorial Day weekend. Of course, clearly this is the plug for the race, right? So the whole resort is open. We're on trails we're not frequented by mountain bikes. We're excited for that, but it's also homeowners weekend. So what does that mean for any runners coming with their families? And really that's our goal. Community, the greater Pocahontas community, snowshoe, and a family oriented event. In the village, they're going to have bands on Saturday and Sunday from about 12 to 9. On Saturday, when the race finishes, all races finish at 8. We've got a Twilight 5K, which is sort of different. And at 9 o'clock, you've got fireworks over the lake. If you guys remember the Lake Schaefer down at the bottom of Snowshoe, so uh, this is a new twist, and I'm pretty excited about it. I really think it's going to be a great opportunity. And the last cool little piece is, is if you're going to bring down, if you guys are going to bring down a crew, when was the last time any of your crews got to take a ski lift down to an aid station? And I'll just leave it at that. And then they can belittle you for your decisions on your way as they watch you go up the ski slope while you're there in the lift.
Yeah, that would be a first, for sure. I'm trying to think of any race that would even. I've been through a couple ski resorts, maybe, but never one where. Yeah, it's is that the last aid station that's at the bottom of the, because Snowshoe, the village is at the top of the mountain, right?
Yeah, correct. It's on top, and there's two. There's uh the 50 the 30K and the 100K will have two ski slopes ish that you go up. We sort of route them so it doesn't it's not a great straight grind straight up. But to your point, the very last aid station is 3/4 of a mile and 750 feet below the finish line.
Nice.
So
That's West
so
Virginia. That's
yeah,
Appalachian right there, Rob.
yeah,
100%. Yeah. I mean, so many West Coast races, they get all the shine. People forget. I mean, it's awesome in the East, and we're all biased, right?
yeah,
But at the end of
yeah.
the day, my favorite race of all time is still Highland Sky. Now, that's going to change once I go to West Virginia and run your race. But um, West Virginia running is fantastic. Highland Sky, run it multiple times. It's just the terrain changes all the time. The vegetation changes all the
Yeah.
time. In parts, it's super technical. In parts, it's super runnable. It's just fantastic. That's not to take anything away from the big races out west.
Let's take away from them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get plenty of notoriety. They're always, getting the shine that they deserve. They're fun. But if you haven't run in West Virginia, you have to do it at least once, because after that, you're going to be hooked and you're going to come back.
Yeah, and that's what sucked us into it too. I was like, we went out there for a couple of times as we were scoping trails, and that's to not push it too much. But it's like the longer distances, like all three of these races have something for everyone. From you've got a few miles that are on the historic Greenbrier River Trail. 4 or 5 miles, you get a nice flat road. You've got long climbs, rolling descents. You got pointless, your PUDs, your pointless ups and downs. And then you go through some gnarly stuff. And like you said, you go through these little different ecosystems. The base elevation is at 2,000 feet, and and then you start breaking into 4,000. You get some firs. One of the oldest, you get the red spruce firs that grow really close together. And as soon as you go into those patches, it could be bright as day outside. The sun, not a cloud in the sky. You go drop into those trees, and it's like it's dusk, and you feel like the sun's going down in about 5 minutes. It's like, where's my light? Uh, yeah, and it's just you've got moss on the ground. It's almost like something out of the like Game of Thrones, right? So
Yeah.
or maybe the Hobbit's probably a better analogy.
It really is some of the most, one of my favorite, what I think is one of the most beautiful parts of our country is through that area. Like Rob said, I mean, you got to go there to see it. Was the race always this weekend? I guess I could have done a little bit of research.
No worries, man. So we were on Mother's Day weekend
Okay.
for the last 2 years, and it was presenting a little bit of problems. Simply just because it's Mother's Day weekend, and the goal was to make it a family event. It's like, all right, so who's running? Is it going to be mom? Is it going to be dad? Who's watching the kids? Uh, and then the resort there just really liked what we were doing with the event, and they said, hey, let's look at Memorial Day weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is their opening weekend for mountain bike season. So I think it'll be pretty badass. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people on the mountain, and I think that it's going to give the event a lot of visibility. Which is nice. But really, our focus is to ensure that we grow the community out there, and make sure it's a community event, family focused, and just having something that's going to challenge people, and something in a way that they can share it with their family too.
Yeah, there's always challenges in West Virginia for sure. And anywhere in the Appalachians when you're running, it's going to be steep, and it's going to be rocky. Those two things are always guaranteed.
And the boulder fields are like nothing you've seen anywhere else. You think you're on the moon with some of the boulder fields in West Virginia when you're running. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got a couple of those.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really like that you did, Alex, and I'd like to kind of get your take on why you did it. Obviously, you're going with the midnight. Is it 12:01 start? 12:01 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
So people aren't confused of the day because
yeah, exactly. Yep. So it's easier to put 12:01 instead of midnight, and then people are like, "Well, is it the day before, the day after?" Yeah.
There was another race I read about in Europe that did that. They had started at midnight one year. Hey, we have a 12, now I got to think of it, 12 p.m. start, a.m. start, 12 a.m. start. And like 15, 20 people didn't show up because they thought it was noon the next day. So the following year, they started it at 12:01 a.m. So as to, hey, this is
yeah.
So what made you go with the midnight start? Because I think that's awesome. I wish more races, especially longer races like the 100K and 100-mile races, would start Friday night at like somewhere between 8 and midnight. I think that's great. You should have to at least run one night to get that experience. What made you decide to do that?
There were a couple different reasons. Part of it is I think as a lot of us are training, I guess, or a lot of us, or train, whether you're going to train for a 100-miler, especially that level's like, all right, it's very sometimes you do it on your own, but sometimes it's difficult to be able to train, get some night miles in a safe environment. That was one of them, but a lot of it had to do with being able to create a family of events and being able to have everyone finish within a time window, if that makes sense. Sort of like bubbling everyone. So most of our finishers are going to be finishing between like 2 and 8 p.m. And our numbers are showing, our bubble, is like between 2 and 6 is probably when most of our finishers are finishing across all the events. So that was really one of the main drivers, but also to have something different. So like you said, like I ran the few years back, the Black Forest, the inaugural Black Forest Ultra, with the Pennsylvania, the ETSIA group, which,
Yep.
those guys do a rocking job with all their events. And I just love the midnight start. It was just something unique. Yeah, you have to approach it a very different way than a AM start or even like a 6 p.m. start. And you got to be able to manage yourself during the day. You can't get too worn out. Because you're in effect you're still pulling an all-nighter.
Yeah. I mean, you might be able to sleep a little bit, but for sure, you're up at midnight. I mean, that's nothing my body would be ready for. I mean, I go to bed early, so I like it. I like it, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but I think you'd be surprised. I mean, I've run like 2, 3 of them now, and going to bed early. If you can, whether it's in your car or a hotel, if you can spend like 2, 3 hours racking out, before the race, like after the sun goes down, then wake yourself up and run. It's going to be a weird feeling, but you're running in the middle of the night on fresh legs when your mind's telling you I should be sleeping, but it's there's some advantages to be had if you can manage your time right by doing a midnight start.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Did you get any complaints with that of people writing? I mean, people complain about everything, so I'm not going to be shocked.
Yeah.
But did you get any complaints of, oh, I would have run this race, but you guys have a midnight start, and I don't like that?
Yep, we have not gotten that yet. So, knock on wood, but no, we have not had that at all. A lot of it's been quite the opposite. It's like, oh, sort of what you said. It's like, oh, we need more of these. Uh,
Yeah, I really like it, especially for a family event. Mom can start, dad can take the kids and go to sleep, wake up and go see mom at 7 a.m. halfway through the race, maybe.
yeah, and we work it. We've got we hit 2 fire towers that are the area is rich with history, and a lot of our sort of taking a step back, and a lot of our awards that we have sort of focus on the history of the race or the history of the area between the logging, the mining, the trains. I think it's the country's largest radio astronomy observatory is right over there, so it's a unique space in that like your cell phones just don't work there. So it's, logistically, that's another challenge. Yeah. So it gets a little wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And logistically it's different, it's I don't know. I'm actually really excited for this. To get down there and just to see that part of West Virginia again and snowshoe. I'm really excited to.
Yeah, we've got. I don't know if you guys drink beer. We've got one of the aid stations is a local brewery. So there's a lot of little unique. Rob got excited about that. I saw you moving your chair.
You said an aid station has beer.
Yeah, it'll be at a brewery. Yeah, the Old Spruce. Yeah, the Old Spruce
It's the
Brewing.
same
So
thing. When it's
yeah,
a brewery, there's beer at an aid station. That's the first
yeah.
case. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had that on the show or experienced it in person.
No, now I'm looking at it. Is it on just the 100K course or is it on the 50K course as well?
It's on the 30K and the 100 course.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. With the switching to Memorial Day weekend, we had to adjust the routes a little bit to accommodate their opening season for the mountain bikers. There's just a couple routes that we need to change, and with Pat and I looking at it, we think the routes are better this year. There's a lot more versatility, a lot more variance. Like so, where we were going before between the fire roads, the super technical rock scree, you know, the climbing the ski slopes, running through the red spruce forests, and then popping out and just running some nice fire roads to break it up a bit.
got it. So checkpoint 9 is Spruce, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Old Spruce Brewing.
Okay, and it's at the brewery.
Yeah, it's on the backside of their parking lot. We'll be there. So yeah, you could. And then the 30K is very soft on the cutoffs.
Okay.
And we did that purposely because there's some people are just over the years finding out like as you get older you still have that endurance but your wheels just don't turn as the way they used to.
Yeah.
So we've got and we've got quite a few hikers too that come out for the 30K. We give it 10 hours. So I worry a little bit because sounds like Rob might just sort of exit left for an hour or two and go have a couple beers and
Yeah.
It's all about hydrating and proper calorie intake, right?
I concur. They've got a great red or great Scotch ale that reminds me a lot of a Smithwick's.
This is awesome. Yeah. I've never seen that before. I've never even heard of an aid station at a brewery, which for this crowd could be a little bit dangerous, I imagine. Probably definitely want it always closer to the end.
Yeah, but we'll probably figure something out at the finish line with them.
So is that the one that they can ride down the chairlift to? No.
Bruce knows. That's the aid station before that, which is number 8, which is Western Express.
Okay.
Yeah, the Western Express and then Shavers Lake, which is the very last aid station. You can take the ski lifts down. Of course, you get charged for the ski lift, but there's only so much we can do as organizers.
Yeah.
But that'll be really interesting to see if you can beat your runners back up the last slope to see them at the finish line.
It's a safe bet they can. I assure you. Yeah. With a beer in hand, I'm sure Annie will be thrilled to death with that. So that's awesome.
We know a lot of runners that this race is going to become their premier race. I mean,
yeah.
You got the ski lift, you got the amazing resort, the midnight start, the brewery aid station. I mean, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, you got a lot going here, Alex.
Yeah, no, thank you. We've as we've talked about it over the last few years, when you get into the village, it sort of like it gives you just the way it's set up. It gives us a feeling of like the UTMB in Chamonix, where you've got the cobblestone road at the finish and at the start, right? And then just everything is centralized. And I think that's what is unique too. Is like you're there right at the resort. You don't have to, if you choose to stay there, everything is right there. All the amenities, the finish line is right there. You're going to have bands. I mean, you park your car for the weekend and you're squared away. You bring the families. You can go horseback riding, pull out ATVs. It should be open. You can go down to the lake for a swim. It'll probably be cold. Uh,
I'm
but yeah, I
good
mean,
there.
it's just, I mean, like you're saying, like it's got everything, and we're excited. We know it's going to take off, in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I can 100% imagine, especially being on Memorial Day weekend and being out in the beautiful area of Snowshoe, West Virginia, Pocahontas County. Yeah, I would say it will get more popular year after year for sure. I know when I just kind of proposed it to the my running friends, I was like, "Hey, found this trail race called West Virginia Trail Race or Trail Fest, excuse me." It's like I might go down and run it. What do you guys think? I got immediately like through response like that looks really cool. I'm in. So yeah, you'll see.
How many people are you bringing with you?
I so far I think five. Rob's a little bit of a drive, but it is Memorial Day weekend. So
yeah, so it gets tough with the family. It's like that, or you bring them all with you, right?
yeah. Our problem is is the family dog that he does go places with us like this. He's been to his fair share of trail races. So but a question I have for you, Alex, how I'm guessing Snowshoe isn't owned by the Evil Corp ski resort company. So I'm guessing, are they independently owned to be this cool to work with?
They are owned by Altera.
Yeah, so not the other one, the bad one.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, they're not owned by them. They're just really cool to work with. From day one when we were exploring the 200 miler years ago, they were just like, yeah, this sounds like an awesome idea. Let's give it a go. I mean, there was no, there were no hurdles. I mean, yeah, with standard, because it's on private property, you got to work through contracts and things like that. At the end of the day, to give them a plug, that whole events team on Snowshoe, I mean, they just rock. They've embraced us from day one. But just like with any organization, you got to learn how each other work and how you communicate and all that. But they've been awesome from day one.
That's awesome.
Really, yeah, really enthusiastic group of people, and it's like they realize that if you're successful, then they're successful, and but we work. I think we work together fairly well.
Good. Yeah, you like to hear that. I know we've all read some stories of other things that try to take place at ski resorts that have.
Yeah, but but to go ahead and and pull the plug that it's not really a snowshoes. I call it's the big shiny thing in Pocahontas County on top of the mountain. But it really, but to make this event go through is that we're working with the National Park Service, we're working with one or two private landowners, and we're working with with West Virginia State Parks, but also with Pocahontas County itself, to make this a success. So there's a lot of players that that are that share our vision, and
Yeah.
which is promoting the outdoors and tourism. And there's a lot of other great races too. The Marlinton was just I forget what the IMBA title is, like mountain bike town. They just they were nominated for that. They've got amazing mountain biking. If you guys are into mountain biking, or even they've got a bunch of trails. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's a great community, and they're all about the outdoors, and super welcoming.
Yeah, and hats off to the West Virginia Tourism Board. I know, they're doing everything they can to get people into the state down there. They don't, they don't bear or hold back any expenses. And I know, they encourage tech workers to move there. They'll give I'm going to say the wrong number here, Rob, but I think it's like a $15,000 bonus for tech workers to move to certain counties within West Virginia. So,
I think you're right.
Yeah, so they're doing everything they can, and really cool to have back to back, I guess guests tied to West Virginia here, with you, Alex, and Abby Herring, last episode. So yeah, Marshall.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I guess you guys know her. I heard, I listened to the episode. I was like, all right, she's from that area. It's like, all right, I need to reach out to her, see if she wants to. I don't know where she is in her mileage or training, anything like that. It's like, hey, you want to come out and run the 30K? And
Yeah, I think she's always on go. If I had to guess, like I don't know her, I know her, from the show, and we have some mutual friends down in West Virginia, but I think
oh, right on.
she's just the type that is always on go. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if she accepted you there. Obviously she didn't have any plans or anything. One question I have before I let you go here, Alex, what do you recommend?
I got one for you guys.
Okay.
No, but you first.
Lodging. What do we do? Like, what do you recommend lodging down there? Because it's in the middle of nowhere. That's
Yeah.
there's not like Motel 6 nearby. Camping, I imagine, is an option.
Yeah, you can, yeah. So you can't camp out on the mountain. Yeah, I'll do the plug through Snowshoe. If you get on the website, we've got a code. You can book through them. There's also a couple private hotels that are up on top of the mountain.
Okay.
If you want to do, I don't know how many people you guys are going to go with. It is the town of Cass. So my favorite place to stay is the town of Cass. And we were wrapping up here. I won't belabor you. I'll shoot you guys the email on that. But that was an old. It was a company town that was part of the railroad. Up on the mountain, they had the paper mills, and they ship everything down. But anyway, it was a company town. So what they've done is they've refurbished a number of the old houses, and you're 15 to 20 minutes away from Snowshoe. But that said, yeah, like I could. I like things that are quiet at times. Like up there is like it's going to be awesome up there. Don't get me wrong, but if you want to do something like cool and historic, like staying there in Cass, it's super chill. They're all like you said, a group of people. So like they're 2 to 3 bedrooms, couple bathrooms, 2 stories, has a full kitchen, and it's you book it through Cass Scenic Railroad State Park, and they're like 250 to $300 for 6 beds. Yeah, yeah, full amenities. Not nothing fancy and sexy like you get on top of the mountain. But it just depends what you want. But I tell you, we stayed there down there a couple times. Absolutely awesome. Super quiet. But you're not going to get any restaurants though. That's all on top of the mountain. You're getting the one restaurant at the store. Uh, yeah, but but there's also for the people, if you guys have one of the vans or something like that, there's a new RV park in Slatty Fork. Yeah, if you got one of the, yeah, if you got an RV or one of the, whatever you call it, the camper vans.
I call them Winnebago, so I don't know.
Winnebago, yeah. But you're OG, right? The Winnebagos, they're all Winnebagos.
I don't know if I'm an OG, Alex. I'm something. I don't know what, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, appreciate that. Cause I was kind of looking at it. I was like, I mean, I'll sleep in my car. I don't mind, but that's not going to fly if Annie comes down with me. That's a no.
No, gotcha. But yeah, the company housing there is pretty cool. Yeah, but granted, it's like, all right, at the end of the night, you're gonna have to roll down the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll check it out. And also got to get a head count here and see who's all coming down there. But,
yeah. Shoot me a line. Let me know y'all's numbers. We'll easily figure something out.
yep. I'll send it over to you here in an email. So you have that. Yeah. What was your question for us, Alex?
How long have you guys been doing this? So you've been doing how long? Yeah, how long have you guys been doing ultra running? What's your longest distance? Or better yet, what's your most memorable race? Memorable race or experience on the trails?
My longest distance is 65 miles. My most memorable, this probably from the same race. Was Grindstone 100K, pouring down rain all day.
Was that 2 years ago?
It was 3 years ago, 2023.
Okay.
Coming down off the last climb. Now, keep in mind, it's been pouring down rain all day. This guy in front of me decides he has to tightrope across the side of a culvert because he doesn't want to get his feet wet. And he tips over and falls in the creek, and he's asking for help. And I was like, dude, I can't help you. Like, there's just, first off, why were you trying to keep your feet dry? We've been in the mud all day. I don't know what's wrong with you. But you got yourself into this situation. I got to keep walking because I'm done. I just want to be in my bed. So that was pretty memorable. I think. Rob, what do you?
And you can, no, just visualizing that, like he's trying to keep his feet wet, and he just falls over into the creek.
Yeah, he's trying to keep his feet dry and he falls into a creek. Like, dude, we've been running in the rain for 14 hours. I wish I would have. I should look up the finishers and try and get him on the show just to ask him what the hell were you thinking. But yeah, that was that or the faceplant guy at Laurel Highlands that just came bombing past me, tripped, fell flat on his face, and then I never saw him again. That was another one. Yeah, it's just what people do out there. I don't know. It's always fun watching people watching while you're out there.
Yeah, it is.
Rob, what do you got?
For me, it was the first time I ran Highland Sky. It was interesting because that was my farthest distance at the time. They say it's a 40 miler, but it's really 2.5 miles. And
Yeah.
I'm hurting, probably 30 miles into it. And I run into this old lady who's running. And I'm just impressed. And she's just covered in blood. Who knows how many times she's fallen? I mean, there's not, you can't even see skin. Like both arms, both legs just covered in blood. And she's smiling, just ripping this huge smile. So I start running with her, and she's telling me that when she finishes, she'll be the oldest person to ever finish Highland Sky.
Wow.
In West Virginia, technical Boulder Field. I mean, that was amazing. And I finished the race like 10, 15 minutes before the cutoff. So it was pretty awesome. And she was right behind me, man. It was such a cool experience.
That must have been really motivating.
Oh, it was. It was awesome.
Rob tells a nice motivational story. I tell a story about some dude in a ditch. That's
it's what happens on the trail, man. People get hurt, and you remember it. And
Come on now, they're both motivating in their own different ways.
They are. Do not try and tiptoe a culvert after you've been running for 14 hours. It's pretty sound advice. So
yeah. Also, don't try to avoid getting wet. Just go through the river. It's part of the experience.
Straight through it.
Yeah. I remember one race I ran in Greece, and it cracked me up because there were a handful of people. And I saw the videos. There's a big river that you had to cross, and people carried like garbage bags to wrap their feet, and it was just the most bizarre thing I had ever seen. Like people like that holding bags on their feet, like that go up to their knees, so their feet wouldn't get wet, and then they pick the bags off when they got across the creek, and then they kept going. So my other question, you guys will probably laugh at this, sort of turning the tables, is of all your trail running gear and experiences, what is the one thing that you cannot do without? And maybe that's a little easy. In a survival situation on the trail.
Survival situation on the trail.
It could be anything, the most obscure to whatever. Just sort of. Clearly, I've thought about this. I could give you my answer, and you might laugh, but
I guess so. When I go out and run kind of remote things by myself, depending on the weather, I'll I either always put a jacket in my pack. If it's going to be anything below like 60 degrees, I always run with a jacket in my pack in case I fall down, break my leg. I have respect for the mountains that I run, and I also put one of the Gatorade electrolyte drinks in my pack as well. So that combination right there is something I never go out into like wilderness where I'm far away with no cell phone reception without.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like it. Very sound.
For me, it's got to be the pocket knife. I always have my pocket knife. I can't think of anything else.
And then you got to shove it in your suitcase, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Alex? Because you go out and run some remote stuff, I know. What do you take with you?
Yeah, you know what? Very, very, very similar to what you said. I'm hit or miss with the knife. Probably 25 to 50%. Sometimes it is. I mean, you pack your kit, and sometimes you just forget the stupidest things. 2 weeks ago, we went up the mountain. I forgot my jacket. I was like, what the hell? And it was 40 degrees. Climbed 3,000 feet, and it went from 60 to 40. It was like the first. I should have known because I saw 60 at the town. I was like, all right, it's going to be warm. But sort of the same thing as you, emergency bivy sack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I've got, you depending on the time of year, I usually have my jacket or don't have my jacket, but the emergency bivvy is always with me.
Yep.
And it's they're $25. They're a little pricey, but they're more reliable than your Mylar jacket, and they weigh 2 ounces. They're you can fit them in the palm of your hand.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And it's to me, it's more about having respect for the environment I'm in and anyone that would have to come get me out of one of those places.
Yeah.
It's about being smart. Cause I was up in, just not to tell stories, but I was up in New York and it was early May. There was still snow up on the mountain. And I went up and there was these two young kids, shorts and a t-shirt, like clearly not prepared. And I told them, I was like, hey, I'm running down this mountain. You guys are like hiking. You need to get going. Like you got to turn around and go back because you're not going to make it before Sunday. Like I had a headlamp with me, a jacket, extra water. These guys had nothing. They had water bottle, t-shirts, and shorts. It's like, it's going to get cold. I'm running. You guys got to like turn around and head back. Like, oh, we're fine. I was like, no, you have to go back down the mountain now because you're not going to hike down this thing like before dark. And they did. They turned around and went. But
Yeah, it scares you, doesn't it? Like just people, it's like I don't know, say they're not thinking. It's not that they're not thinking, but they're out of their element, and they don't realize they're out of their element, and they don't realize the hazards that exist out there.
yeah,
We're
it's 6 miles back to like what is camp, which for me was probably going to be about like a little bit less than an hour, but for these two, that's 2 hours.
2-3 hours easy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I take what I take with me, and just for the respect for the conditions that I'm in, I guess.
Ignorance is bliss for them.
Yeah.
When you go out in the woods, you get lost. It gets dark, which I'm sure we all have done that at this point. You go out for a run, you're not following the correct route, turn left instead of right. It's not fun.
Nope. Will has got me lost a few times, Rob. So anytime I'm with Will, I take my headlamp and jacket because.
Are you bringing him to West Virginia?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if he's going. Maybe he will. He's running Boston. I'm going to see him in Boston here next weekend. So possibly, we'll see. I should ask his wife if he can. We'll see.
Would it have been proper on this thing to plug our sponsors?
Oh yeah, go ahead because we'll edit it in. So
all right,
we're about ready to wrap up. We'll do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, we've got. I just wanted to share with you guys. We've got for the people that do listen. We picked up with U-Sweet hydration packs. I don't know if you're familiar with them, and we're now the sponsor for the West Virginia Trail Fest. I coincidentally work for the company, but they ponied up, and for everyone signing up for the 100K, you get a brand new VST vest.
Nice. That's awesome.
So it retails for just under $200.
Oh,
and race entry is $250.
Damn.
Yeah, so you're gonna upgrade just for that, and then downgrade to the 30K, Rob and Casey.
There we go. Yeah,
we would never do that. You just talked Casey into running the 100K though.
Oh man, how do you spell that, Alex?
USWE.
Sweet, I'll check it out. Yeah, we always like new gear here.
Yeah, and you'll see Red Bull in a couple of the aid stations.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting, and they'll be at the finish line afterwards, and then we'll have Tailwinds, one of our supporters, also.
Okay, very cool, very cool. I like Tailwinds. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's gonna be it'll be interesting, and we'll have hopefully nice little expo up there for you guys.
Sweet, looking forward to it. I just got to decide which one I'm gonna run in. It really depends on how my back goes here for the next few weeks. So we'll see. Rob is, I think, still undecided, right, Rob?
I'm close. I got to double check the calendar, and the boss has to approve. But so, Alex, we appreciate you joining us here. Where can our listeners find you?
That's a good question. Whoever's listening to this podcast, that's where they can find me. They can find me athletic-equation.com. That's the company we were talking about that started this whole thing, and also at West Virginia wvtrailfest.com. All the emails go to me or Pat. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us, short of me giving out my telephone number online.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Hobby Jogger. We hope you've enjoyed our conversation today. And if you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support keeps us moving forward. Until next time, keep those feet moving and enjoy the miles.